Alright guys, today I wanted to make a video just giving Leeds United a bit of a review on their season so far. It's been a bit of a turbulent season for them that actually got off to a brilliant start if we look at form. They actually, I think, got 7 points from their first 3 games, so really good start to the season. But after the month of August, really, they got another win towards the end of August. It did tail off, and when I say tail off, Leeds went on a run from game week 4 where they actually only got 2 wins in 20 games, which then led to Jesse March being sacked. And I think, to be fair, that is an abysmal run, so I wouldn't disagree with it. However, that did include a win away at Anfield, the only team, I believe, since April 2017 to win at Anfield with fans in the stadium, so that's an impressive achievement. In the Cups, they recently lost to Fulham in the FA Cup in the 5th round and lost to Wolves in the EFL Cup in the 3rd round, so, not much success there, to be honest. But yeah, in terms of their starting 11, I think their best starting 11 at the moment is a 4-2-3-1 under Javi Gracia. Ilham Melia in goal, by far the best keeper, prone to an error but still a good goalkeeper, especially considering his age as well. Back 4 of Luke Ayling, Robin Koch, who has nearly been an ever-present for them this season. Max Verber's come in and impressed since he's joined, and Junior Firpo recently, after having a tough first 12 or 18 months to his Leeds career. I think recently he's really stepped up his performances, and I think the winning goal he scored against Southampton in what might have been Gracia's first match in charge really, gave him a boost in confidence, and he's been a lot better since then, I think. A midfield duo of Tyler Adams and Mark Rocker. I know Weston McKennie's come in, but I don't think McKennie's been that great since he's come into the starting 11, to be honest. I think Mark Rocker, although he can be a bit hit and miss, I think when he has a good game, Leeds tend to play very well, and that's where their best results this season have come from, I think, with that partnership in midfield. And then Rodrigo up front. I mean, the goals he scored this season are a big reason why Leeds, aren't already facing relegation pretty much. They're still very much in the battle. I mean, there are 9 teams who could go down, but they've stepped up to 14th place, so as it stands currently, they're in a good position, but that could all change in the next 2 weeks. It's the international break, isn't it? But yeah, Rodrigo up front, and behind him, I think Jack Harrison, Brendan Aronson, and the upcoming star for Leeds this season, Wilfried Gnonto, make a very good free off the shoulder of the striker. I think Aronson and Harrison had a really good start to this season, but then their form sort of tailed off. But I think recently, especially with Jack Harrison, his form's really improved. And Aronson, whilst the goals aren't really coming for him, I still think he's putting in good performances. So I think that's a solid starting 11. And then manager Javi Gracia, I mean, he hasn't been at Leeds for long, but I mean, in their last 4 games, that they've picked up 7 points, which is good going for Leeds. Wins at Wolves and at home to Southampton. That they also got a draw in that time as well. And I think the only game they've lost under Gracia is actually to Chelsea. So they've been in good form recently under Gracia, and it looks as though he's going to be the man who gives them the best chance of staying up this season, I think. Then on to potential incoming players. I think Leeds, they mostly need improvement in the midfield areas, I think. I don't think Adams and Rocker are that bad that they need replacing, but it's just the lack of depth behind them, because even with Weston McKennie coming in, he's only on loan, so he's not going to be there next season. And behind that, there's not a lot, to be honest. You're looking at Adam Forshaw and probably Sam Greenwood, who, if we're being honest, isn't really a centre mid, to be honest. So I've picked a couple of defensive midfielders to play in front of the defence to give some cover for Tyler Adams and Mark Rocket, and I've also picked another option behind the striker as like a number 10 or someone who can play out wide. So in terms of the defensive midfielders, I've gone for Rayo Vallecano's Oscar Valentin. I think he would be a very good option in terms of he's brilliant at breaking up play, whether it be tackling or intercepting, and knows when to make a tactical foul. And Leeds are a team who, you know, they push forward, and sometimes that leaves them a little bit isolated in terms of defenders up against attackers. So I think having someone who knows when to, you know, take one for the team would be very important for them. And then I've gone for Dominic Koa for Mainz, who I think would be a very good option, another cheap option. Both of these players actually have a market value of £4 million, so I think they could be very good signings. A very good tackler, and Koa is a bit more, he has a bit better distribution than Oscar Valentin, a bit more creative, and I think he would be a very good option. It's like the more of the playmaker of the two sitting midfielders. And finally, I think as like a number 10 who can also play out wide, I've gone with Gianluca Caprari for Monza. I think he'd be a very good option because with Aronson is he's very good at like across like that sort of line behind the striker. He can play multiple positions, but he's still a young player, and I think they could do with another option of someone who can also play that number 10 role, because I don't think even with the amount of options they've got, you know, with Harrison, Nyonto, Somerville, Sinisterra, haven't even mentioned him, they haven't really got someone who is, you know, sort of going to sit in behind the striker and can play passes out right. So I think it would give Leeds a different option, and I think it would be a smart signing. Again, only has a market value of £9 million. So these three players only have a combined market value of £17 million. So that's not a lot of spending for them. And yeah, he's very good at winning fouls, good dribbling, and also playing teammates in on goal. Very good passer of the ball. So I think he would also be a smart option for them to sign as well. But yeah, I think Leeds just have quality in some positions, but in other areas the lack of depth is what costs them at times. I think they've done some way to improve that in January by signing Max Verber, and that's definitely helped strengthen their defence a bit. But in their attack, they've got so many options, but it's just lacking in midfield, I feel as though, because if you look at the front four that Leeds play, they besides all the players I've mentioned, so you've got about 10 options. You've got Jack Harrison, Crescencio Somerville, Brendan Aronson, Sam Greenwood, Wilfred Nyonto, Luis Sinisterra, Rodrigo, Patrick Bamford, even Jorginho Ruta. I mean, their all-time most expensive player, who hasn't really hit the ground running after joining for about 35 million. I think he's a very good player, Rita. I think if I was putting money on it, I'd back him to become a good player for Leeds if they did give him, you know, a few more chances, because that's going to become a problem in the next few years for Leeds as well if they don't get a proper striker playing, because Rodrigo's taking that mantle at the minute, but Rodrigo is a lot older than people actually think. He's in his 30s already, so you know, in 3 years' time, that's going to be a problem area for them if they're not careful. Bamford as well, so no spring chicken. He's been, you know, around for a good decade now as well. So I think Jorginho Ruta becoming very good is going to be something that Leeds need to happen, in my opinion. But other than that, Leeds, they've got a decent size at the minute that definitely can be improved upon, and I see no reason why it's believed that Leeds are doomed for relegation over the next few years. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.